What makes a legacy? Is it built on skill? Heart?
You're in the title match. We have more coming your way in a minute.
This isn't just bold.
Leslie, his wife, joins him. A very emotional day for you. But Ronnie was not going to go down
This is the
without a
Bohn
fight.
legacy.
That will do it.
How do you build a legacy? One shot at a time.
You know, I had this conversation about 3 or 4 weeks ago with somebody. They asked me for a start of my career, where things were and how things evolved for me, the tour itself. And I told them, I said that my mom got in touch with Dave Davis and Joanne and asked them to please coach me the summer I turned 17. So that's the first time I met Dave, and him and Joanne together, I'll say basically formed my game from sloppy Joe at the foul line to into somewhat of what I became over time. It was about a year after that I met Mark Roth, and when I did one day, he actually came to the bowling center, and I thought we were actually going to bowl. And it didn't turn out the way that we bowled, but he came down here to help me out with my game and told me some things about spares. And I alluded to this in my book. Same thing Charlie Del Plato tried to explain to me, but I'm looking at Charlie at the time. How could Charlie know? You know, now Mark Roth tells you the same thing. Oh, okay, I'm going to be waffle ears and listen. But when that rolled around, this is where you were the integral part of my career, that you were there to help me see lanes and understand lanes, especially out on tour in the beginning, that it really started to sink in. So now my game is my game. I go out on tour for a year or two, and you're still telling me things that make sense. And fortunately, I win my first title after I'm out on tour for 3 years in 1987. But more importantly, Johnny, I'll say the story that I was trying to explain to somebody is, please take in mind, I've got probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 TV shows at this time under my belt. And now I lead the tournament, the Brunswick Memorial World Open. I signed earlier that year, January to be exact, that I'm going to be a full-fledged Brunswick staffer. And now on the TV show, I'm sitting there bowling for my second title, which would become my second title. And who's sitting in the front row? Dave, Mark, and you.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Oh my God, it was like surreal. I'm turning around, I go, now wait a minute here. Here's 3 of the greatest bowlers of all time watching me bowl for the title. And I remember being that kid that looked up to all of you, and I still do today. I don't care how old I am. But, now I'm bowling at the title, and when I come walking off the approach, the 3 of you are sitting there in the front row, and oh my God. I mean, I get chills thinking about it still to this day.
Yeah, because you had all the, when you made the show at the World Open, you had all the bigwigs of Brunswick sitting there.
Everybody.
Starting with Jack Reichert. That was,
yes,
who was the king, the kind of person that, if he was a sergeant in war, you would follow him to hell. That's how you looked at him. He was so much in your corner.
Yes, everybody had nothing but respect for Jack, for sure.
Yeah.
So things at the Memorial World Open, I have to be quite honest, couldn't be any more elated with the way things that turned out. And it's really funny or ironic, not only are the 3 of you sitting there, but there is a little story behind the scenes that started in practice pro-am that week prior to.
Okay.
Arnie Fogel, who happened to be the president of BRC at the time, and I did not know him, even though I worked for the company.
Right.
He come walking into the locker room, and he's halfway through the locker room and wants me to adjust his wife's stub hole. And I was very nice. I said, sir, I'm sorry, you know, these are only pros and we can't do anything like that back in here because I didn't know where we could go with this. Mike Albee comes walking and says, oh, Arnie, sure, yeah, bring it back here. And he takes her in the back. Well, I didn't know. How about when it's all said and done, I've got the three of you sitting there watching me. Fortunately, I get a mark in the tent to shut out Phil Ringiner. And then who presents me the check and the trophy?
Arnie.
None other than Arnie Vogel. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Arnie, nice to meet you again. Now that I know who he is.
Yeah. You know, everything at Carolier Lanes was great, but things had changed. Lee finally sold it, and things got different, and we were moving down here into the senior community. Yeah, things got closer and closer. And I think the other thing that, if you'll remember this, is when we did the Michael J. Fox movie.
Yeah.
And after the people watching Michael J. Fox bowl, when we had to do that high energy thing, and then they had to applaud on cue and all that, and they were really tired. And you were the first one that got up, and the first shot you threw, you hit the swish spot, you blew the rack, headpin came back and tomahawked to 7, and you jumped in the air, did almost like a 360, and the crowd went berserk. They finally got to see a pro bowler throw the ball, and when they put that whole thing together, it was wonderful. And then the assistant director, I forget his name, he said, but we had to cut it because it made Michael look so bad as a bowler, you know, and so maybe you shouldn't have jumped that high.
Maybe he had to learn how to do the triple Lundy.
Well, what had happened is Brunswick, along with whatever movie company it was, and they got contracted to be able to use all Brunswick stuff in the movie. You know, I had to teach Michael how to bowl. And the director says, I don't care if he's terrible, but make him look like a bowler. And Michael, being competitive, he wanted to become a good bowler. And he would come to Carolier every day. And he would practice when Big Jack Kordusky was the manager then, and he would call him Big. You know, that was they just kind of, hey, Big, you know. And he was really a great guy. And then I think when we had to do that high energy thing, there was myself, you, was there Amleto there? Or
I think it was Amleto. I know it was Randy. I know it was Brian Voss.
Right, that's it.
At the time?
Yeah, so when we put it all together, the thing was terrific. And, you know, it was when Michael came to bowl in Carolier, the Pro-Am, and the place, there was no place to
they were standing room only.
They had to use the bus on the other side of Route 9 to come across with the people parking in the parking lot. Yeah. And it was really a great moment. And you know something I found out recently is Michael worked so hard on trying to look like a pro bowler and sliding on his knees and all of that. And when you go back and check, that was the beginnings of his Parkinson's disease.
Was it really?
Yeah. When it, you know, I said to him, I said, son, I'm counting the years and stuff and how long you've had it. You probably didn't even know it then, but you know, he had like the beginning of it. He said he was, you know, a really good guy, but really professional. You know,
I got to give you a lot of credit. He was a very, very beginner bowler when I first met him. And I mean beginner, raw beginner.
Yeah.
And in literally, I'm going to say 6 to 8 weeks when you really worked with him, he had style, he had form. No, he wasn't going to be PBA Tour quality, but he definitely had style and form, and that was cool.
Yeah. Great friendship that got so close to Parker and him and his family. It's just like, it's not really a friend, it's more than a friend. It's just a, you know, just wonderful person.
You are, I mean this from my heart, you're an incredible person. When I watch the things that you do on the lanes, I watch the things that you do off the lanes. You know, people ask me, where do you pick up on this or where do you pick up on that? I know that things start with my mom and dad. God bless both of them. May my mom rest in peace.
Yeah.
But as your friend and fellow coworker for all the years that we've been through with Brunswick, a lot of the things that I've been able to formulate out there all start because of you.
Oh.
I mean that from my heart. From the trick shots and the charismatic nature, the signing of autographs, you know, I believe in my heart, neither one of us are ever going to turn our back on anybody to take a picture or anything else. We all run into tricks that we have to run because we have to get somewhere or there's a time restraint. But that being said, I can't thank you enough for all of those things.
Hey, we're blessed to be doing what we love for a living too. That's,
Got that
that
right.
makes
And you know
it
what?
better.
The better thing, we're still sitting here talking about it.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't forget, if you like what you saw and you want to keep seeing what you're seeing, I guess that makes sense. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never ever miss a new video.